We are into the second lecture on the bipolar junction transistors. We had seen the introduction in the last class. We understood why the word bipolar. Then we said that both electrons and holes both play a role in the current carrying capacity. Okay, so current voltage characteristics. Therefore, we call it as bipolar junction transistor. And then we also talked about the various parameters related to the size of the three terminals. We said it is a three-terminal device. You have emitter, base, collector, and the size of those three terminals, three regions: emitter region, base region, and collector region, and also the doping levels. And then we defined the because it is a three-terminal device, there are two junctions. Okay, so each of the junction behaves exactly similar to that of your diode. That is why importance in learning the diode operation previous to the transistor. That is one thing. Second thing that you must understand, we also, because of the two junctions, you can actually have three combinations of biasing, and we define those three biasings. We got like forward bias, okay, which is nothing but the saturation mode, and then reverse bias, then that is called cutoff mode. Okay, so basically like you have emitter base junction EBJ, then you have a collector base junction C, okay, so CBJ. So if emitter base junction is forward bias, okay, so let me emitter base junction okay, so here it is writing, so I have to keep it in this fashion. Okay. It's a new board which I somehow managed. So emitter God. Wait a second. So that's why one needs to have their own board. Emitter base junction you have called EBJ. Collector base junction. Collector base junction, there is CBJ. So if EBJ is forward bias, CBJ, which is collector base junction, is reverse bias. Then we are seeing the operation of the diode. We are seeing the operation of the transistor. Excuse me, operation of the transistor. Operation of the transistor, and the mode of operation is called active mode. Active mode. Likewise, we have EBJ forward bias, CBJ reverse bias, forward bias. Okay, CB forward, both are forward bias. In which case we see what is called saturation mode. Saturation mode. Both are forward bias. Okay, and then what we have is actually something like the EBJ and CBJ. Both are reverse bias. Both reverse bias. Then we have what is called cutoff mode. So saturation mode, active mode, saturation mode, cutoff mode. Okay. So with these definitions, we will discuss about more interesting thing is when the transistor is in active mode. Okay. So our class today is about the discussion on the active mode of operation. Active mode operation. This is what we are going to discuss today. Under active mode, as I told you in the top, EBJ is forward bias, CBJ is reverse bias. Okay, so how is the transistor acting? So we'll take an example of NPN transistor and go about discussing the operation of the transistor under forward bias. And the aim of today's lecture is about defining two parameters of current gain, namely common emitter current gain, common base current gain. We'll define both of those parameters in the class. So let us look at this operation of the transistor in the active mode. Now look at here. These we have already understood it is a 3-terminal device. So we have do not get into the what is written here. So what I will suggest is right now we will begin with there are 3 terminals, which is emitter here, base here. Just follow my lecture, collector here. Okay, and this is a schematic of a NPN transistor. So you have NPN transistor. Schematic of a NPN transistor under active mode of operation. So you can clearly see by definition, once we identify the 3 terminals, N we know, okay, we'll come to first the biasing. So the biasing, if you see here, the N is connected to the negative of the source, P is connected to the positive of the source. So we can clearly see that EBJ emitter base junction is forward bias. Now here base, this is my base, you can see the B here. So base, this is my emitter, this is my collector. Now if you see here, the collector base is reverse bias, which means we have collector base reverse bias, because we already know what is a forward bias, what is a reverse bias. Only with the difference, biggest difference here is we have, instead of one junction as in diode, we have 2 junctions, namely emitter base and collector base. So you can see the collector being an N-type material is connected to the positive, emitter base being the P-type material that is connected to the negative. So which means this is reverse bias, this is forward bias. With this, let us understand what are all the directions of the current flow and how current flow happens under this biasing. So right at the outset, I will try to point out that you see the difference in the notation here. These are the small VBE, small VCB, this is capital VCB, VBE. So this is actually the drop. VBE is the drop here across this junction. This is the drop across this collector base junction. Whereas this is the source. Capital V stands for the how much source we are applying, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is about this action. So with this, under this biasing, what is going to happen? So for that, to begin with, let us recall these facts. N region will have electrons majority carrier. About the minority carrier and the action of the minority carrier, okay, due to drift, we will see that action at the later stage. This only talks about the majority carrier in today's class. We will talk only about the majority carrier. N region has majority carrier electrons. P region has holes as the majority carrier. Now, let us focus on the emitter base junction and talk about the current. There are already, you see the direction of the current, and let me explain how these directions are marked. So, first this fellow is this emitter region has actually majority carrier electrons. Now, under the influence of forward bias, we know that the electrons from the N region will diffuse into the P region. It will be readily able to flow under the influence of forward bias, as in the case of diode. So, emitter current, if you were to see, it is constituted by electron from N region, that is emitter region, diffusing into the base region, So electrons from, I will write specifically emitter. So this is one of the components. Now is there additional component here? Because this is forward bias, this P has majority holes. So the P will also be readily be able to move from the base into the emitter. So component of IE, which is emitter current, IE is emitter current. IE is emitter current. This IE emitter current is made up of two components. One is the under the influence of forward bias, the electrons from the emitter sweeping into the base. It is going diffusing into the B. Similarly, the holes from the P diffusing into the emitter. So holes. So two components. This is component 1. This is component 2. Holes from P, that is base region, readily diffusing under the influence of forward bias into emitter. Obviously, it will depend on this, the VBE. Okay, how much it will be dependent on that. By diode principle itself, we know that this voltage, because I equal to under forward bias, I equal to IS exponential of V by VT, where VT is the thermal voltage. So I can clearly write here that IE is proportional to e power VBE by, okay, I will use the same notation, capital VBE, the small VBE by VT, where VT is the thermal voltage. So we are only talking about majority carrier here today in today's class. Okay, thermal voltage. So IE is actually e power VBE by VT. Now, and already we discussed about the two components. What will be the direction of IE? IE is actually, okay, let me again use the same notation as in the book, textbook, capital E. So I will use the word capital E here. So different textbooks follow little bit of notations differently. We are used to certain textbooks, so we write that way. But remember this IE. I is a small letter, E proportional to E VBE, which is small v, that is the voltage developed across this junction, VBE by VT. So depending on how much voltage is going to happen, that IE, that much current will be flowing. Okay, so depending on this voltage, whereas this is the bias voltage, so don't get confused. So that is one thing. Now what is the direction of IE? It is very evident that these holes, electrons diffuse in this direction from E to B. E means emitter to base. Holes diffuse in this direction, holes diffuse from B to E. The conventional current direction is the direction of the movement of the holes. Therefore, the current IE will be flowing out of the emitter terminal. IE, okay. So I am again, IE will be flowing out of emitter terminal. IE will be flowing out of emitter terminal. Okay, now come to, let us talk about what is happening at the collector. Now, before that, let me tell you something. If you remember, recall the fact that the emitter region, okay, just a second. So I have talked about emitter current and emitter current direction and contribution of emitter current and proportional to the base emitter voltage drop. Okay. Now we will talk about the other currents before we define the parameters. Okay. Now, one more thing that I want you to tell, recall these facts. N is actually emitter, okay, emitter region. I should not write N only because that will be confusing. I will say emitter. Emitter region is heavily doped. There is a reason for it, and that reason you will understand shortly. Base is lightly doped, and we also discussed that emitter region size is moderate, base region size is the thinnest. Now base has majority carrier holes. So we already understood, first of all, that the electrons from under the influence of forward bias, the electrons from emitter region will recombine with the holes in the base region. So process happening is electrons from, I will bring the context of these points shortly. So the heavily doping and the thinnest of the base region shortly. Electrons from emitter recombine, diffuse into base and recombine. The process of recombination, carriers are lost. Remember that fact. So recombine with holes. Holes is the vacant state that was supposed to have been occupied by an electron. Absence of an electron in a state creates a hole. Okay, recombine with the holes. Therefore, the carriers are getting lost in the base region. Holes, the concentration of holes is bound to decrease. But there is a savior, we'll come to that. Concentration of holes is expected to decrease, but it is not going to happen. It's expected to decrease in base region. In base region. As a result of the injected holes into this thing. So also we also note that the holes themselves, holes from base, also diffuse into emitter. So one of the components of the base current is this. The holes from base also diffuse into the emitter region. This is one component of base current. One component of base current. So this is very important that you make the the base region thinnest. Our idea is to drive the electrons under the influence of forward bias all the way into the collector region. That is how you can get an active mode operation. So how is that possible? To do that, we have to ensure that this base region has to be lightly doped so that the recombination is made under control. So the recombination is made under control so that the electrons from the emitter will be able to escape the base and reach the collector. And the collector collects the electrons that come from the emitter region readily. Therefore, that region, that is why that terminal is called a collector. So under active mode operation, you want the electrons. So this is the most important point. The electrons from the emitter needs to escape the recombination and reach. For that, we need to drive with sufficient forward base. Not only that, main thing is the base needs to be thin so that it is able to escape and reach. So a majority of the electrons from emitter under the influence of forward bias, under the influence of forward bias, is able to majority of the electrons are able to cross over the base region and reach collector. This is only possible. This is possible only when now you understand the reason why that parameters are like that. So the design of the transistor is made in such a manner that the emitter is heavily doped. So you have large amount of electrons coming from emitter. It emits the electrons. The base is made thinner and lightly doped so that the electrons, majority of the electrons, escape the recombination process and reach the collector. And this is exactly what is required for an active mode of transistor operation. This is possible only because the base is made thinner and also lightly doped. So recombination is not dominant, also lightly doped. Now let us look at what will be the collector current. Obviously, the collector current will be dependent on how much electrons from emitter is able to get collected at the collector. So the electrons from emitter goes in this direction and escape the recombination and reach collector. So the direction of the movement of the electrons is in this. So electrons movement is in this direction, electrons flow. So obviously the collector current will be opposite to that of the electrons flow. So the direction of collector current will be in this. So that is what is mentioned here. So we see the direction of the emitter current that is flowing out of the emitter terminal under active mode operation, the collector current flowing into the terminal. Now we are left with only the base current. What are the base current? Base current I already told you. So again I have to make some comment on the collector current. Let me make that collector current. Comment on the collector current. Okay. So before we move into the base current, we will actually get into the collector current definitions. Collector current IC is actually again proportional to how much electrons is able to come from the emitter and reach the gets collected at the collector. So that will depend, we already know how much will be able to, that will depend on VBE. So the collector current will be dependent again on the forward bias voltage across the base emitter junction. The forward bias voltage that will decide how much the magnitude of the collector current, and IC therefore will be equivalent to, because this collector current is the very important current that will tell the operation of the successful operation of the transistor, IS e power VBE by VT. Now notice that collector current is independent of the collector base voltage, collector base junction voltage. Which is VCB. It is independent of it, because this, you look at here, this is reverse bias. We are talking about majority carrier. So under reverse bias, it is a fact that as long as the collector terminal, so this is because collector base junction is under reverse bias. What does that mean? So collector terminal is N region. As long as the potential of the collector is more positive, potential of the collector is more positive, as long as more positive than the base, base is P type, which is connected to the negative. So as long as this is the case, this junction will be under reverse bias. So the collector current will be proportional to only the base emitter voltage. Okay, so that is exactly what is written here. And also you see the same IS here. IS is actually what is known as saturation current, very similar to the diode, except that the saturation current is a transistor parameter here. It is because we are talking about a 3-terminal device, so it is a transistor parameter. More about that you will learn as you learn through this course or the next course. Transistor parameter. Okay, so what about the base current? So collector current we have told the direction, emitter current we have told the direction. Now the base current. So base current I already wrote. There are two components to that. One component is the holes from P base region diffusing into the emitter, that is one component IB1. The second component is actually as the electrons from the emitter diffuses into the P and part of it, a fraction, only a minor fraction of the electrons recombine with the holes in the base region are getting lost. Therefore, that is being replenished by this source. So, the external circuit, which is the bias voltage, external circuit is the savior. External circuit actually, so two components IB1, IB2, IB1 clearly seen injected holes from base to emitter. IB2 is actually the current, whatever the carriers, holes that are getting lost here is actually getting supplied, replenished by the equal amount of holes by an external source. So this is actually replenishment. This is due to replenishment of holes that were lost by external circuit. First, let me write that by external circuit that were lost. So, that were lost by recombination. Recombination is happening in the base region. So, we understood that two components here, two components, and collector current is dominated by the majority electrons from emitter reaching the collector. So, definitely because the holes is going, the direction of the current is into the base, okay, because the holes is, it is positive here and holes are positively charged. You will have IB actually, it will be in the direction of the same direction as the positively charged. So conventional current will be in the same direction as that of the movement of the holes. Therefore, IB is into the terminal. So please ensure IB into the terminal, into the base terminal. IB into the base terminal, IB into the base terminal. IE is actually into the sorry, not into, be careful here, it is out of emitter, terminal. It's flowing out of emitter terminal. It's flowing out of emitter terminal. IC is into collector terminal. So these are the three currents. We have discussed about the currents. Now the time to define, and I also told you the components of the various currents and defined the mode of operation, active mode of operation. Now we have come to a stage where we can define the current gain parameters. So we already see two currents. If you look at here, IB is into the base terminal, IE is flowing out of emitter, IC into the collector terminal. Two currents, IB and IC, into the terminals. IE is flowing out. So the incoming current must be equivalent to outgoing current. Therefore, we will have this equation, IE will be equivalent to IB plus IC. This is one equation, very important equation. Now, what about the base current? Okay, so the base current actually is defined in terms of base current is defined in terms of the what is known as IC by beta. This is the definition of base current. Definition of base current. And this where beta is called common emitter current gain. See, you will see that as I told you, base is made very thin and base is lightly doped. So majority of the electrons that is driven from the emitter reaches the collector without getting lost in the base region due to recombination. Okay, so base current, if you look at it, it will be very small. Okay, so this is common emitter current gain, and you see here this is collector and base. So the common terminal is the emitter, so common emitter current gain, beta. And beta is typically of the order of 50 to 200. Okay, there are transistor SL100. Okay, similarly BC, there is a BC 547 if I remember correctly. So these are the nomenclature used for which you will be using in the lab. SL100 BC 547 nomenclature used for BJT. These kind of transistors are available in any electronic shop and you can actually use it. And in the lab, you will be using them and doing current voltage characteristics and so on and so forth, amplifier, everything. Beta is 50 to 200. For special devices, you can get even 1000. Current gain, very important parameter. Very fundamental important parameter. Common emitter current gain, you can get up to 1000 for special devices. And base, as I told you, base current is going to be extremely small. Okay, this can be small only when, so that the current gain, common emitter current gain is very high. Only when base is thin and base is lightly doped. So in the fabrication of transistor, these facts are taken into account so that the common emitter gain is ensured in this manner. So you can get all ranges all the way from few tens to the 1000, okay, depending on the need. Now in integrated circuit, base is made typically in nanometer, 10 power minus 9 meters. This is the typical size of the base in integrated circuits, okay, in ICs. So this is exactly what it is. Now, having said this, let us look at this equation. And so IB is IC by beta and IE is IB plus IC. So substituting 2 in 1 will finish in 5 minutes. substituting IB expression in IE equal to I'm used to this. IE equal to IB plus IC, we will get actually IC by beta plus IC, IE equal to, and that is equivalent to 1 plus beta into IC. Take the common denominator and simplify, you get this expression IE. Now IC is the very important thing, how much current that is flowing into the current. So in NPN you will see the IC is in this direction. In PNP you got to understand differently. Okay, so you should see what is the majority carrier, and conventional current direction is actually the direction of the movement of the holes. So IC is, so I encourage you to think about the PNP and see the diagram by yourself if you have understood clearly. So IC equal to IE beta by 1 plus beta, and beta being in terms of tens. So 1 plus beta will be always higher than beta. Therefore, these can be simply written as IC equal to, now the collector current is expressed in terms of the emitter current. So this is a parameter called alpha IE, and where alpha is actually what is called, so these collector and emitter are there. So alpha is what is called common base current gain. Now what is the typical value of alpha? The typical value of alpha is going to be, typical value of alpha, so where alpha is actually beta by 1 plus beta. Now I request you to substitute 50 and here, so it will become 50 by 51. So if I have when beta is 50, so you can see alpha is always going to be less than unity, always less than unity. And always less than unity. And alpha, small variation in alpha will be a problem. So ideally you want alpha closer to 1, so that all of the electrons are able to reach the collector terminal, so that you get the maximum gain out of the transistor. In today's class I will end here. Tomorrow we will continue. In the next class I will inform you. Okay, thank you so much. Alpha is a very sensitive parameter. That's what you have to understand. Small variation in alpha is enough. Now, one thing that I will finally write here is actually what about alpha in terms of beta. So knowing you, I request you to write this expression before I leave in today's class. Something sorry about it. So alpha is actually beta by 1 plus beta. Okay, so you can see beta will be equivalent to alpha by 1 minus alpha. So very small variation in alpha is enough to blow this, vary the beta. Beta is very important parameter. Okay, common emitter gain is common emitter current is very important parameter. So you can actually simplify this. From alpha, you can get this. Okay, so knowing alpha, you will see the beta. Very small variation. Alpha is very sensitive. So say I request you to find, let us say if alpha is 0.9, what will be the beta? if alpha is 0.98, what will be beta? Try to find that. So this is in varying in second decimal, you will see a big deal here, because this will be, think about it. It is beta will be equivalent to 0.98 divided by 1 minus alpha, that will be 0.02. So that will be equivalent to these two, you can multiply by 100 in both, so it will become 49. Whereas earlier it was actually 0.99 divided by 0.01, that will be equivalent to 99. So beta goes almost half when alpha is varying in second decimal. So that much sensitivity is there. Okay, thank you so much. That's what I wanted to make that point.